Canada's offense, they took a step in the right direction yesterday. It was Curtis Dixon who led the way.
Yeah, the man they call Superman stepped out of the phone booth, and he can beat you inside or outside, and he also has one of the most lethal low-to-highs in the game of lacrosse.
Definitely a man to watch today for Canada. The Haudenosaunee, no strangers to the highlight reel. Austin Stotts has been overpowered.
He's got 11 goals in just 2 games, and if he bodies you in tight on defense, there is not many ways that you're going to be able to stop him.
Fabulous finisher for Haudenosaunee. Nearly a dozen goals in the first 2 games. It's the end of week 1 in the World Championships. This is definitely one to watch. Stay right there. 2 of the best teams on the planet getting after it next. Pool A play in the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship, presented by Rady Children's Hospital. 2 nations know each other quite well, Haudenosaunee and Canada. Teddy, these 2 squads, very, very familiar with each other's personnel. And in the Pool A standings, this game matters a great deal.
Yeah, we talked about it off the top. The winner of this game is going to get the number 2 seed in Pool A. The Americans are already 3-0, have the tiebreaker over both of these clubs. So as much as the teams want the win, they all understand what is at the end of the rainbow, and that is a day off.
Michael Lemsey, Bill Doherty, Rob Gross, Keith Glock, your officials. Netminder, Dylan Ward at the ready, standing tall for Team Canada, both Canada and Haudenosaunee, with marks of 1-1 as you just saw. The Canadians welcoming Jake Withers to the face-off X. He'll line up opposite of Jeremy Thompson in a highly, highly anticipated matchup. A beautiful 63-degree day at Torero Stadium. Off and running in this nightcap. Earlier today, the United States throttled up on England and secured the number 1 spot in the Pool A bracket. Haudenosaunee in the purple, Canada in the white. And in possession, Kyle Jackson, waiting for subs to come off of the sideline. Head coach Lars Tiffany rounding out this first midfield unit with Brendan Baumberry and Zach Miller. Very elusive 33 in the purple, shaded immediately by Latrell Harris. Those of you who may just be jumping on board in the World Championships, no shot clock. Haudenosaunee with the game's first possession. Miller gets to the alley, hatcheted there by Rylan Reese. Austin Stotts has been a man on a mission. Scored 8 times in Haudenosaunee's win over England in its opening game. Barreling in against the defense of Shumei. Behind the back flick off the outside of the cage. And Dylan Ward will start it back for Canada. Teddy, when these squads met in Israel 5 years ago in the World Championships, it was Ward in pool play who was phenomenal. 24 saves in helping Canada win that one.
Yeah, everyone knows Dylan plays this very, very high arc, and it throws shooters off quite a bit. So if he's going to be that aggressive, look for the Haudenosaunee to find skip passes behind lanes so they can take advantage of that high arc.
Co-head coach for Canada, Matt Brown, was talking about the offense. Canada gets its first touch. Dixon back behind the cage off of the 3-goal performance yesterday. Matt insisted that this team would find its rhythm, Teddy. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, they didn't have much of a training camp. They've only been together for a few days here down in San Diego, so give them a few games to get the motor running.
Josh Byrne, 2 goals in each of the first 2 outings for Canada. A loss to the United States in its opener. A solid win over Australia on Saturday by a 10-3 margin. Byrne playing 2-man game. Hide and seek with Peterson there. Bounce shot on the way, score! Dane Smith gets himself on the board.
And that was one of the focal points for this Canadian offense. They got to get guys like Dane Smith, Connor Fields, and Westberg in the scoring column. They're going to find their lanes and their passing, but it's unbelievable for this Canadian team to see Dane Smith get that opening goal. Off a split dodge, goes strong right, and then a bouncer to the far hip of Warren Hill. And that's always going to be hard for a goaltender, taking that stick all the way from one side across his body to the other to make that save. Excellent placement by Dane Smith for his first.
Teddy, he's thought to be the fastest man on Team Canada. What is it about his sweeping ability that makes him tough to cover?
It's like when you get a basketball player backing you down and you're waiting for him to take that jab step, and he is so quick going left to right that defenders really have a hard time gauging where he's going to go.
Withers gets control of the next face-off. Canada gets a chance to put goals back to back. First time on the big outdoor stage for Dane Smith. He had assists in the first 2 outings. He collects his first World Championship goal, the first goal of the night. Canada on the board before the 4-minute mark. Dixon measured back behind the cage by Oakley Thomas. Curtis Dixon, who scored 44 times indoors for the local San Diego Seals this past season. Peterson for Smith. Send it on around and spin it. We introduce the attack trio for Canada. Jeff Teat, who works so well with Peterson at Cornell. Byrne isolating against Pacino. Off of the screen, feed it inside. It just does get away from Ryan Lee. Ball dribbles out of bounds. It'll be Haudenosaunee ball.
That was a good look for the Canadian offense. You saw Josh Byrne off the split dodge, gets the defense to slide, and Ryan Lee, just as he does, sitting in that soft spot, moving a little too quick to receive that pass, but he was wide open. That's going to be a concern for the Haudenosaunee if Canada can exploit that early slide.
It's a youthful roster for Canada. There are 7 players on this roster who are younger than 25. Several of whom are getting their first taste of the World Championships. There is no failure to advance. There's a limitless clock to get the ball across midfield, and Haudenosaunee collecting its paces and doing so with Blake McDonald into the attack territory. Jackson, who was marvelous at the University of Michigan, was the first ever Wolverine to play professional outdoor lacrosse in Major League Lacrosse with the then Boston Cannons. Six on 6 at this end of the field. Randy Stotts leans in against Brody Merrill. Merrill in his 5th World Championships in his early 40s. Timeless.
It's unbelievable what Brody's done on an international and professional stage, and the fact that he's still doing it and competing at a high level just goes to show the work that he puts on away from the field and the floor.
Patterson on the go, muscles in, connecting with Lyle Thompson, gets to the alley. Randy Stotts waiting with his defender Merrill hung up. Randy Stotts peering over the top of 6'4" Dylan Ward. Cat and mouse game behind the cage. Randy Stotts on the shovel. Ward gets back into the crease, makes the denial, and the whistle will send Canada, or rather keep possession, it appears. The officials ruling stay of possession for Haudenosaunee.
Yeah, they called a loose ball push on the Canadian defender after Stotts went down, but that's a good job by Stotts to keep Brody hung up and then drive to his offhand side.
Have a look at that replay.
And he saw him. He just couldn't get high enough, and then there's the extra push from Challen Rogers.
Lyle Thompson maneuvers in against Graham Hossack. Terrific battle of opposing number 4s on the field tonight. Merrill coming to double, shovel inside. You have to be alert off ball. A snapshot that just missed for Zach Miller.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Matt Brown stressed before the game. They have to understand that the Haudenosaunee will throw passes from everywhere, and you must be aware of guys cutting through the middle behind you.
The magnificent Lyle Thompson with hat tricks in both games so far for Haudenosaunee. Picked up by Hossack. That pass is intercepted. Well read by Dylan Ward.
Yeah, he's so active in and out of the cage. Plus, at that 6'5" frame, he picks off passes quite a bit.
Challen Rogers in transition. Canada looking for numbers. Slow breaking it here. No running room for Latrell Harris into the teeth of the Haudenosaunee defense. And Lars Tiffany, the head coach for Haudenosaunee, has been very pleased with his gang of defenders. Poles and shorties. Pacino fires. He scores! Second goal of the tournament for Jacob Pacino.
Out of Liverpool, New York, goes to University of Albany, and a pole goal to start things here for the Haudenosaunee in transition. Lyle Thompson was actually telling everybody, slow down, let's get our numbers out. And Pacino said, you know what? I got this. Let's go to the rack. And he goes high over the top. Bouncers will go for Jacob Pacino, and it's 1-1.
Back to San Diego right after these words on ESPN. Dane Smith and Jacob Pacino trading goals early in this one as we are arriving at the midway mark of the opening quarter in the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championships. Haudenosaunee and Canada Both teams would be very interested in reaching the quarterfinals, semis, and then some, all to be seen on the ESPN family of networks.
Indeed. The number 1 and number 2 seeds won't play on that first day of playoffs on Tuesday, so that is a huge momentum boost in this game. But once we get to Wednesday, all bets are off, because every team from Pool A all the way through down is going to be as competitive as possible the later we go in this tournament.
The field in this tournament limited to 30 nations, all of them arriving through qualification spots. Pool A, 5 teams, including Canada and Haudenosaunee. Earlier today, the United States, with a win over England, has secured the top rung, the number 1 seed in the playoffs to come. These 2 teams battling to earn the second stripe, and as Teddy mentions, the bye on the first day of the playoffs.
So far, Jake Withers hasn't had much success against Jeremy Thompson at the faceoff dot. That time gets called on the hole. This is his first game being back from firefighter school back home in Canada, so he's going to have to get customized to the world rules again as well.
Jeremy has to feel good about facing anybody except T.D. Erlin, the United States faceoff man who was so terrific in helping the USA down Haudenosaunee an evening ago by 2. Thompson on the move against Hasek. Effortless and fluid is Lyle Thompson. Most of the offense will run through him throughout the night. Feeder, this time setting it up top. No room for Jackson to wander. Patrick Shumay, Cam Wires, more of the unheralded defenders for Canada, but those guys have been very impressive in this tournament's first week.
Yeah, add in Mike Grace to that as well. The loss of Owen Grant was huge for Canada, but these young guys have absolutely stepped up in the opening couple games.
You saw Grace even play with a short stick in the second half against the United States. Lyle Thompson waiting, no shot clock again, and running time in the first, second, third quarters until there's 30 seconds left. Feed to the inside, it was a bit too tall. At the midline, it's goosed over by Zed Williams. The officials are going to say over and back, though, and give the ball to Canada.
Yeah, an unfortunate feed in there to Audie Stoss, just didn't quite connect, but they found him a couple times sneaking through the defense, especially when Lyle's got his defender hung up.
How does a guy that big and strong sneak through anybody?
It's just keeping his feet moving, Joe. You have to keep your feet moving at a level like this. If you don't, you're not going to have much success. And Audie doing a great job, just like Randy does, just like Kyle Jackson, running off screens and just keeping their stick open. You just got to be there for a glimpse, and he'll find you.
Ryan Lee, the braced right leg, the knee injury sustained a season ago. Good stick check there, ball down. Canada comes up with possession. Berg, another San Diego SEAL, better than 100 points during his indoor season most recently. Dyson Williams, who had the huge day yesterday, carried the Canadian flag into the arena, then potted 3 goals. Dixon, who was on Team Canada in 2014 when they won gold in Denver. Snapshot by Lee that sails wide. In lacrosse, Teddy, on a shot closest to the ball, where and when it leaves the field, gets possession. So this stays with Canada.
Yeah, the Canadians will use this extra time just to continue feeling out this Haudenosaunee defense, trying to find where their lanes are, trying to get everybody moving and see who they can exploit, whether it be from X or from the side far wing.
Haudenosaunee defensively likely to be missing Heine Thompson tonight, listed as day-to-day by Lars Tiffany. Berg finds the open man, Connor Fields. Extremely skilled on the drop. This drive just sent wide, kicked out there by Hill. Rebound belongs to Dixon. Curtis gets inside, and he sailed that one wide of the mark.
And he is so good at getting top side of his defender and getting to the middle of the floor. Even if he takes contact, he can still get the shot off.
Jeff Teat working back behind the cage. Quick stick attempt there for Lee. Did not connect. Casino, very good off the ground, comes up with the scoop and gets heavily ridden to the end line by Teat.
Yeah, the Canadians will use their athletes to try and press up the field and cause some turnovers through the midfield, but good job by the Haudenosaunee. Keep their composure, move the ball throughout their defense, and get an easy clear.
The setting sun here at Torero Stadium, just about 3/4 of the field is pretty much enveloped in shadow, as Jacob Patterson, who lives here in the San Diego area, Goes for a jog against Michael Grace.
He was also a draft pick of the San Diego Seals. 4 Seals in this game, 2 on each team. So very familiar, as you said off the top, with a lot of these players from playing in Canada, playing in the pro leagues. There are a lot of friendly competitions out here tonight.
Expect plenty of crafty stick work from Eli McLaughlin, who has the ball now. 3 in the purple. Sharing with Thomas Hogarth. And then Lyle Thompson. Off of a screen, gets to the inside. Bouncer on the way. He scores! Lyle Thompson.
7th of the championship for Lyle Thompson, and this will be an absolute perfectly executed 2-man game between Lyle and Hogarth. Just comes off, no slide. Rogers doesn't take a good angle, and then Shumay, the late slide, unable to get in time. And when you give LT4 that kind of time, it's almost automatic.
Teddy, so many coaches, scouts, they claim that Haudenosaunee pick game is so precise. What is it that makes it so good?
I think that's just guys growing up playing the box game up in Canada. They understand positional awareness. They understand how to get guy on his back foot, where the defenders are. And if you can get a defender taking that step back and create an angle, you're going to have so much success coming hard off picks.
And the picks are all sturdy, very quiet. There's no motion in there, no illegal pick action.
Yeah, the officials will be very tight on that, especially in the world stage. They are very aware of when guys are moving on picks, so you have to be standing, especially for these guys who are used to playing Canadian rules. You got to plant your feet and run your defender into him, not yourself into the defender.
Dane Smith, who started the scoring for Canada. We've seen Pacino and Lyle Thompson go back-to-back for Haudenosaunee to grab the lead. Less than 2 minutes to go in the opening frame. Stop time in the final 30 seconds. Josh Byrne on the move with Pacino at his hip. Byrne, below goal line extended. Now it's Jeff Teat's turn. Zed Williams draws that assignment. Williams, normally a star attackman, playing long stick D in this tournament. Smith off the face dodge, gets underneath, lost it there on the shot attempt. Back comes Haudenosaunee with Ron John. Pass taken up off the ground by Kyle Jackson. Jackson, who had 4 assists in Haudenosaunee opener against England, drawing a foul there with a flag on the turf.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Dane Smith, just riding Kyle Jackson through the center midline, and then just got too close, too physical, and got their feet tangled and fell to the ground. But that's just a good job of Kyle Jackson understanding, again, situational awareness. You got Dane Smith tracking you down. If you just kind of keep step for step, as Dane gets closer, he draws the foul.
Don't blink when Haudenosaunee goes extra man. They do things very quickly. A pass to the inside that's deflected. Canada's defense stiffens at the right moment. Still, though, possession here. Drive that's sent on the way, and it is Ward who has it. And we saw on the extra man, we saw Zed Williams trade his long stick for the more customary attack stick.
Yeah, I just noticed that. So maybe Lars Tiffany just trying to use their athletes as much as they can here in the first quarter. And when you got a guy like Zed Williams, you let him do what he wants. He wants to play long pole, fine. You got an opportunity to put a short stick in his hand, he's just going to be as lethal.
15 minutes gone by in sunny San Diego. Lars Tiffany and Haudenosaunee getting set for their battle with Canada. And through 1 quarter of play, as anticipated, plenty of highlights, plenty of highly skilled athletes on parade for you in the World Championship on ESPN. The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship, sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. They do a tremendous job of searching for better ways to care for your kids. In San Diego, Joe Beninati, Teddy Jenner with you, 15 minutes complete at Torero Stadium. And a Haudenosaunee squad, Teddy, that is showing more and more signs of maturity these days, has a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, they've been very steady and very composed here in the opening 15 minutes, taking their opportunities when they're there and winning possessions, especially those loose balls. You got to limit the Canadian multiple sets. And when they get opportunities in the offensive end, they got to score.
Scramble here for the loose ball off the draw. And it comes up for Graham Haase. Canada and Haudenosaunee each with 1-1 marks in their Pool A play.
Man, running away from Zed Williams just has to be what Jeff Teat's life is going to be like here in the next 45 minutes of this lacrosse
Fear?
game. Fear. Zed is going to be in his back pocket all game long. And I talked with Lars Tiffany on the Off the Crossbar podcast this year and asked him about the change from long pole. And he said, you know what? Zed wanted this. He wanted to challenge himself. He wanted to challenge himself at a new position of lacrosse, and he has been absolutely unbelievable with a long pole in his hand. So it just goes to show at 6'3", 230 pounds, how versatile he really is.
Canada with the ball, Berg in possession. Matt Brown said his team would gain strength and execution at the offensive end as this event goes along, hoping to do that more and more as this night transpires. It is Teat sharing the ball with Wes Berg. Had an assist against Australia on Saturday, did Berg. Working off the two-man game. Jackson there to defend. Ryan Lee turns a corner. Whistles that one off the frame.
Flying Ryan Lee coming over the top, got his hands free. A late switch there by the Haudenosaunee defenders. Didn't get out on Lee's hands early. And he rang it off the pipe behind Warren Hill.
Warren Hill, almost 250 pounds of netminder. Getting some help from his best friend. Off the move, Fields. Inside, scores! Connor Fields.
So many people might be saying, what the heck is Connor Fields doing playing for Canada? Well, his mother's Canadian, his dad's from upstate New York, and when he got the opportunity to wear the maple leaf, he jumped at it. And this all starts because Jacob Pacino goes up over the top, and Fields, strong with his hands, keep possession and time and room for one of the best natural shooters in the game. Connor Fields makes no mistake.
Peter and Jennifer's baby boy getting this score level at 2 apiece. Fields accepting the congratulations. Another gorgeous day, day 5 of this World Lacrosse Men's Championship action presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Temperatures in the low 60s throughout. It'll get chilly when the lights take full effect. Jeremy Thompson wins the draw. Is going to the cooker here. A feed for Randy Stotts, who backpedals away from Cam Wires. Wires, who would have covered Rob Pannell in the second half of the opener against Team USA. United States prevailing in that one. Stars and Stripes, a clean slate through their Pool A play. They blasted England earlier today to make sure they will have the #1 seed going into the playoffs, which start in the week ahead. Miller off that screen. This is going to give the ball to Canada.
Yeah, Jeremy Thompson was just trying to get Jake Withers hung up at the defensive end and got called for the illegal screen.
Brody Merrill, long strides, kicks it in. Hasek coming late. His pass did not emerge through Pacino, and it's Haudenosaunee going the other way in the purple. Zach Miller with Jackson, little give and go. Miller fires. Ward stepping way out to take the angle away, made the stop. Austin Stotts for brother Randy, then Lyle Thompson, bullseye!
Lyle's got a pair, and that all comes off the loose ball from Audie Stotts. Dylan Ward comes high out of his crease, makes the save going low with his leg, but then that's a free ball. And you cannot allow Austin Stotts to find this ball, swing it through X to brother Randy, and then, much like Connor Fields, time and room is his specialty. And Lyle Thompson takes advantage, and he goes top corner on Dylan Ward. Again, Joe, you can't allow second opportunities in a game like this that is going to be so tightly contested, and especially when Dylan Ward and Warren Hill are making these acrobatic saves, have to clear the crease, have to pick up the garbage in front.
3 straight multi-goal games for Lyle Thompson. Procedure off the draw. Canada expected to throw both Jake Withers and Justin Inacio after Jeremy Thompson. At the face-off X throughout this one. Canada's in the white, trailing by 1. Just past the 5-minute mark in the second quarter. Dane Smith will keep it hot for Clark Peterson. McDonald there to play him. 6-on-6, no shot clock in this tournament. Methodical offensive approach. Lee, Peterson, and then Teat. Skipping on through for Smith. Ron John is attached to Dane Smith. Lee looks things over. Dixon isolating. Tries to get to the inside on Jerry Stotts. Here comes a double. Teat fires and scores.
Don't know if the fans could hear it on the field mics, but the Haudenosaunee bench was screaming for a award on Curtis Dixon. And then as the slide comes from Zed Williams, that leaves Jeff Teat wide open. And again, the last 3 goals, guys just left open in the middle of the field with time and room. And Jeff Teat, as natural as he does, stings it past Warren Hill.
Without a doubt, Teddy, one of the most dangerous threats for Canada, wears 51 in the white. He showed that to Australia on Saturday with a goal and 4 assists. That tally makes it 3-all.
Yeah, and it's that slide from Zed Williams. The Haudenosaunee didn't have that second slide, so basically vacating a zone to free up space. If Haudenosaunee are going to slide quick, they got to make sure they have secondary help rotating through.
It's one thing that Lars Tiffany was talking about with respect to the defense for his squad. Defensive coordinator Vince Longboat and Lars looking over the D, and they were trying to be more buttoned up with regard to that second slide.
It's not easy when these guys are playing at such a high level and the communication is there, but you're still trying to get used to everybody's moves. And with Zed being so new in the defensive end, it might take these guys a few games to fully get on track, much like the Canadian offense.
Ryan Lee has it. Berg setting a screen. Lee jitterbugs to the middle of the field. Connor Fields against Pacino. An Albany showcase. Fields weathers the storm. Here comes the double. Pacino nearly took it away. Outside heat. Berg, that one rattles around and out. McDonald takes it on the run, trying to push the pace. Hossack there to jump the gun on Thompson. Made the takeaway from Lyle. Rolls it expertly there for Fields, and Canada gets another offensive touch.
Yeah, unforced error there by the Haudenosaunee, clearing through the middle. Blake McDonald got to be better with that ball. You cannot give free possessions back to Canada. And Graham Hossack, the cyborg, jumps on that loose ball and gets Canada back in the fray.
He is built like a cyborg,
Absolutely.
isn't he?
He is a monster. 3-time National Lacrosse League Defender of the Year with the Halifax Thunderbirds and the Rochester Knighthawks. This guy is a specimen, and one-on-one with him is a nightmare matchup.
I was going to say, he is as rugged as all get out. 6.5 to go in the opening half. Stay with us, folks. If you missed the United States and England earlier today, Teddy will do his best to go through a bunch of highlights, mostly led by McCardle and Pennell for the Stars and Stripes in their win. Feed to the inside from the bad angle there, just flicked wide by Teat. Get the timeout here. Just over 6 minutes remaining in quarter 2. A back and forth affair. Haudenosaunee and Canada squaring off in San Diego. Superman gets back to work on the other side of the break. Haudenosaunee and Canada deadlocked at 3 apiece. It's been a pleasure, Teddy, to watch Matt Brown work the bench, work the huddles, and really in an elevation and rise to his status as an outstanding head coach.
Yeah, he has been the man in waiting behind the legend Bill Tierney with Denver University Pioneers. And he spent pretty much 20 of his last years with that Denver program. And he was brought up in the Burnaby Junior Lakers box in Canada, went to 6 straight Minto Cups, won 3 of them, was a part of the national team, and has now become the beautiful mind of coaching for not only Denver, but Canadian lacrosse as well. And he, along with Merrick Thompson and Mark Maishita and Taylor Ray, have done an excellent job, all 4 of them, coming up through the ranks and now leading this next group of great Canadian players.
Beautiful mind Russell Crowe?
Yes.
Love that film. 3-all, 5:45 to go in the half. Canada has it. Dixon sent that one wide of the cage. It's backed up by Jeff Teat.
Canadians are doing a good job getting their hands free off the initial split dodge of the Haudenosaunee. And that's giving them excellent looks on cage. And it could be a long night for Warren Hill if they start putting them on cage.
Ryan Lee maneuvers in. Picked up by Blake McDonald. Peterson to the alley against Jackson. Dixon looking things over. Bump there by Oakley Thomas. Curtis Dixon soaring through the air, sent it over the crossbar. And there is a crease violation against Dixon, who is slow to get back up.
Yeah, he took a heavy hit from a sliding Haudenosaunee Nationals defender, and he wore that one. But again, an excellent job by Curtis Dixon, backing his man in, much like Audie Stotts does, trying to find the weight shift, trying to find the right side of his hips, and just gets his rocker step and gets underneath. And as he dives across, here comes the slide hit from Blake McDonald. And Dixon slow to get up, but seems to be okay.
Haudenosaunee in the purple. Bronze medalists in 2018 in the World Championships in Israel. Canada fell to the United States in the gold medal game in the final second of regulation. A highly scrutinized final second, I might add.
I was going to let you go there. I wasn't going to go there in fear of backlash.
Randy Stotts will walk it away. Bomberry, one of the captains, one of the leaders on this squad. Lars Tiffany was curious to see how his team would emotionally bounce back after falling to the U.S. in a terrific game an evening ago. They're right there tooth and nail with Canada tonight.
Yeah, both these teams lost by a pair of goals to the United States, Canada on opening night, and as you mentioned, Haudenosaunee last night. So both these teams know how important this game is, and the fact that they'll eventually see the Americans down the road.
Miller fires crossbar, a ringer that bounces back and sends Hasek away, looking for the fast break. Hasek feeds it down for Dixon. No numbers advantage. Haudenosaunee gets back in the hole pretty quickly there. Just over 3 minutes with which to work in the second. Dixon, great one-handed catch, diving effort, score! Ryan Lee with a spectacular play.
That is what he is known for. Ryan Lee takes the pass, excellent one-handed grab, and this is just an excellent feed from Curtis Dixon. CZ takes the step up, mans to the middle, and Ryan Lee goes airborne and is able to beat Warren Hill for Canada's second lead of this game. But man, the Canadians, again, excellent ball movement. And you mentioned slow transition numbers. It wasn't quite there, but as soon as Curtis Dixon saw the open field in the middle, he's going to take that space all day long, draw the double, and then it's just an easy flip to Lee.
Ryan Lee there, you saw him on the sideline applying some tape to that knee brace, which took the worse for wear as he landed on the turf here at Torero Stadium. Points in all 3 games for Ryan. He had a tally in the event opening loss to the United States. Canada gets the ball with Withers at the face-off X, and Team Canada will ask for time.
Ryan Lee hurt his knee a couple years ago during the National Lacrosse League playoffs and had to sit on the sidelines and watch as the Colorado Mammoth went on to win the national championship. And this past year, he got back to being healthy and again got them back to the national championship. He is finally healthy and one of the most lethal one-on-one shooters in the game.
You make a great point there with regard to the indoor game and these two squads and the amount of players who play indoors professionally. These two, Haudenosaunee and Canada, know each other so well. They're friends, they're teammates. Tonight, they're adversaries.
Yeah, there are no friends in a game like this until after the final whistle. And they're able to put all that friendship aside because they know what's at stake. But you're right. Back home in the Canadian summers, whether it's in BC, Alberta, Ontario, all across the country, these guys grew up playing against each other in their club teams. So they've been friends and foes for years. Sometimes they've been even teammates on some of those teams. Jeremy Thompson and Lyle Thompson were teammates with Ryan Lee and Dylan Ward in Six Nations. So, you know, and they're even friends in the NLL as well. So there is not just friendship, but familiarity in what some of these guys do. So that just creates that much more intensity in these rivalries because of that familiarity. And it's so much fun to watch because all these guys take these one-on-one matchups importantly.
Lars Tiffany there, the head coach for Haudenosaunee, gets the whiteboard out. has been telling us throughout this event how much his guys love the structure. They want to be coached. Teach us about man-down defense. Teach us about what's going on in the clear. And Lars sees that as an evolution, as a maturity with this game.
Yeah, he really loves this opportunity and coaching this group because they want to learn so much. And Lars has a wealth of lacrosse knowledge and field lacrosse knowledge where some of these guys are still learning the nuances of the outdoor game. So they're really teaching each other about life, love, and lacrosse, and it's been a perfect marriage.
The Iroquois Nationals men's lacrosse team formed and sanctioned by the Grand Council of the Haudenosaunee. That was in 1983. Officially changing the name to Haudenosaunee Nationals in 2022. Performing tonight against Canada and trailing by 1. The lead goal for the moment. An outstanding effort from Ryan Lee, getting the better of Warren Hill in the cage for Haudenosaunee. As the sun is hidden behind some cloud cover. Relief for the goalies on the field and for the announcers in the booth. Thank goodness. Smith has it. Canada in the white. Fields is parked back behind the cage. Berg played collegiately at Denver. All-American during his days with the Pioneers. Fields a 4-time All-American. Casino there. Good stick check, loosened the ball up from Fields. Swings a cage. Keep it hot for Smith. He had Ron John right in his face.
He wound up to shoot that turn, and there was a big 6-foot pole of Ron John staring him right down the eyeballs.
80 seconds left. Stop time in the last 30 seconds of this quarter. Fields fidgets. Smith looks it over. Jeff Teat, it's your turn. Around the screen set by Berg. No shooting room yet for 14 in the white. Smith shuffles on in. From the angle there, Hill straightened up to beat him.
One thing with the Canadians that we all know in international lacrosse, they don't like switching hands. So when you get Dane Smith sweeping with his right, he's always going to want to come back to it. So good job by the Haudenosaunee national defenders just to stay on his top side hip so that if he does bring his stick back, it's an easy stick check.
Both teams, both head coaches were talking about winning their respective matchups, and that means knowing the personnel, knowing those tendencies that you were just discussing. Timeout taken with 39 seconds left. Again, a low scoring, relatively low scoring by these two teams' normal standards. I wanted to talk with you a bit more about Canada offensively, Teddy. Could there be, with this being pool play, a matter of trying to camouflage what you're doing offensively, save your best for later in the event?
Yeah, and I think that's been Canada's MO for quite some time, dating back to the Dave Huntley era back in the early 2000s. The legend Dave Huntley was always of the matter, maybe don't show your hand right away. Just kind of go through the motions, and not go through the motions like you're super relaxed, but just swinging the ball and seeing what's made available to you. And in that game against the United States, I don't think Canada really showed everything that they had. They didn't have Jake Withers. Zach Currier hasn't played since the opening quarter of game 1, so they are maybe holding a little bit back. But again, as this game goes on in a 1-2 goal game, late in the fourth quarter, I think you will see Matt Brown kind of dig into that Rolodex of plays and bring some methodology to his offense and even to his defense. But early on, I think they'll just kind of let the game flow happen.
Teddy right there in the middle of the screen, 45, Clark Peterson, his uncle, the late Dave Huntley.
Yes, absolutely. The Huntley family is well known all across Canada and internationally for everything they did for the game of lacrosse in Canada, especially the field game. He is greatly missed, and I know that the Peterson family will revel knowing that Dave Huntley is watching.
Son of Norman and Carol, Clark in his mid-20s, working under the direction of Matt Brown and Taylor Ray. Both of these teams, outstanding coaching staffs and management teams, bringing their squads to this 4-3 conclusion of the opening half. Lyle Thompson on the board twice in this game. The lead goal from Ryan Lee. So many of these players in this event hailing from RIT.
RIT is an up-and-coming, well, I don't want to say up-and-coming. They've been a powerhouse in D3 for quite some time, but over the last few years, they've really put themselves on the map. And anytime an RIT player scores, everybody wants them to know.
And an amazing amount of these guys through the Hill Academy.
Yep, absolutely.
Under Brody Merrill's direction.
Yeah, Brody and Patrick and their father, Peter, have done an incredible job with the Hill Academy, just grooming young men and teaching them how to be professional on and off the floor in the field and how to handle themselves. And they've done an incredible job.
Last chance of the half for Lyle Thompson against Hasek off the roll dodge. Lyle Thompson looks. Great catch by Miller. Fires. Kick save by Dylan Ward. The rebound booted towards the midline. Latrell Harris comes up with a help. 5 seconds for Canada. Pushing it is Wires. Wires flings it from midfield. That'll be too tall. And we are done with 30 minutes in San Diego. 4-3 for our neighbors to the north.
Well, wouldn't expect anything less between these two countries. Back and forth defensive battle. Both goaltenders playing ecstatic between the pipes. And, of course, some of the best goal scorers in the entire world doing their thing.
A beautiful skill display. Lyle Thompson, Teat, Dixon in Canada. Lee has the lead goal. Stick around. We'll share highlights of Team USA's win earlier after these words. You're watching the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Beautiful visuals here in San Diego from Torero Stadium. Top of the hour time along with Teddy Jenner. I'm Joe Beninati. 3 cheers for all the men and women in our technical crew for all their efforts throughout this first week of the tournament. Canada holds a 1-goal lead over Haudenosaunee with 30 minutes to play.
And coming out to start the second half will be Brett Dobson for Team Canada. He'll replace Dylan Ward. Dobson, of course, out of St. Bonaventure's University, also plays goaltender in the NLL for the Georgia Swarm, almost leading them to a playoff spot. And Dauber has been sort of the second next coming of great Canadian goaltenders after, the likes of the great Chris Sanderson and Dylan Ward. And now Brett Dobson gets an opportunity to shine here on the big stage.
Yeah, Brett says that Dylan is his role model. You mentioned the name there, Chris Sanderson. Dylan really took the reins from the late Chris Sanderson, who passed away in 2012, a lengthy battle with brain cancer.
Was an incredible human being, always had time for kids, especially one like myself back in '92 when I first met him at the U19 World Championships, and I used to stand on the sidelines and warm him up before games. Just always a smile on his face, and was such a legacy part of Team Canada.
I'm glad to hear he had that kind of effect upon you.
Well, just look at the number of Canadians that want to play gold. It's all because of watching Chris Sanderson.
Dobson gets his first look at the Haudenosaunee 6-on-6 at this end of the field. A 4-3 advantage for Canada, provided on the second quarter goal from Ryan Lee. Randy Stotts hovering back behind the cage, again with Brody Merrill hung up. Randy Stotts serves it inside, score! Austin Stotts, brother to brother.
That's now 12 in this tournament for Austin Stotts. He had 16 in all of Netanya back in 2018. He has come out to play in this championship, and he just gets lost in the wash defensively by the Canadians. And brother to brother, you said it, Joe, they are going to find each other no matter what. You give him a window, and Randy will fire it in there.
Pinpoint passing. That was just a sliver of an opening to find Austin Stotts, who has done terrific damage in this event. Gets himself on the board. Early stages of the third. And now to the face-off X. Jeremy Thompson on this draw against Jake Withers. They battle for it. Reese looking to come up off of the turf. The officials awarding the ball to Team Canada, and Withers wastes no time.
Withers wanted a quick whistle from the officials, and so did Matt Brown. But especially in World Lacrosse, they're always going to give the defense a chance just to regain their setting, make sure the field is set. So they'll bring it back, let Dane Smith carry it into the offense.
Dane, who plays professionally outdoors in PLL play with Chaos. His game continues to evolve. Smith on the board with the opening strike for Canada.
Haven't heard much from Josh Byrne tonight. the main focal point of the Canadian offense, along with Jeff Teat. Byrne being hounded by Jacob Pacino. Really haven't seen him do much of anything.
Teddy, your mark to me was Smith, Fields, and Berg. Needing to get some more output from them. Byrne has the ball. He has a couple of 2-goal games already. Gets into the lane. Bouncer here. Fought off by Hill. Rebound. Oh, tremendous defensive play. Covering for Hill. Zed Williams and Kyle Jackson playing goal.
Talk about taking one for the team. You think this game means anything to these athletes? Zeddy and KJ diving in front of that Jeff Teat shot, selling out, making the save, and keeping this a a tie game.
Fantastic work at the defensive end. Hill continues to bark out the defensive assignments. Canada has the ball. Look at the left side of your screen.
Yeah, the initial shot comes from Dane Smith, picked up by Teat, and there is Zed and Kyle Jackson diving to make the save.
Teat working around the screen of Peterson, fires at Sizzler. That sailed high on Hill.
What you might start seeing is these Canadians coming off that high seal, getting time and room. As that defender slides, watch them to pull the string and try toe drag to get underneath.
Byrne inside roll. Just missed it as he had the defender off of his hip. Josh Byrne, collegiately in the United States at Hofstra, former captain of that squad.
He and Dane Smith winning an NLL championship with the Bandits just a few weeks ago.
Teat rolling back. Williams stumbles. Feed it inside. Dixon scores.
Teat pulled the old e-brake on Zed Williams. Plants the foot. Zed can't keep up. And then Jeff Teat doing what all great feeders do. Eyes up immediately as soon as you lose your defender. Watch him plant the foot here. Whoop! There goes Zed, loses footing, and Curtis Dixon slides to the middle of the field. That's where all good goal scorers go, and he wastes no opportunity for his second.
Third time in the World Championships for Dixon. Set up splendidly there. Curtis, among Delaware's all-time goal-scoring leaders, bags his first after the 3-goal performance against Australia yesterday. 5-4 Canada.
As we expect, these teams just continue to trade goals. Who's going to get that all-important first 2-goal lead? We saw the Americans get it in both games against Canada Haudenosaunee.
Withers winning the draw for Canada. Withers and Inacio seeing time at the face-off X tonight. As Teddy mentioned in the opening quarter, Jake concluding recent firefighter training. I applaud him, the son of a late firefighter in my own right.
Yeah, the number of Canadians that play lacrosse but are also firefighters continues to grow every year. It's just that camaraderie of the team environment that draws lacrosse players to it, and they all make incredible firefighters, and they're part of that family, and they're a part of this one as well.
Berg has it. Third-time World Championships. Fields spots the open man. They'll run it through Teat. Off the screen. Williams there ferociously with that long stick. Teat fakes the flip and keeps Canada 6-on-6, nearing the 6-minute mark of the third. Dixon powers in. Drive off the post and in! A bullet from Dyson Williams.
And again, this all starts off the dodge from Curtis Dixon. He didn't get this kind of athletic movements against the Americans, but it started the other night against the Australians. Now again, he's finding time and room, gets to the inside, finds his man off the slide, and Dyson Williams from deep goes posting in, and the young man playing on his first men's world championship, playing for his long-time brother and his loved brother, Tucker Williams. Just an incredible story is the Williams family. If you don't know the story of Tucker Williams, I highly, highly suggest you go and read about his battle and all the things that he and their family had to go through. And you know he's watching down on his brother playing here, and what a goal from Dyson. What a moment for the Williams family.
60-goal scorer Dyson Williams at Duke, son of Sean and Tamara, dad's 3 times with Team Canada. Canadians open up the 2-goal advantage, their largest lead of the day, as this rolls out of bounds off the face-off. Nearly halfway home in the third quarter. Both of these teams with 1-1 records. The United States with a victory today, a convincing one over England. earning the #1 seed. Neither Canada nor Haudenosaunee can eclipse them on the top of Pool A. The top 2 seeds in this bracket receive byes out of the first round of the playoffs. That's why this one tonight means so much between these two.
Good hounding defense by Challen Rogers and Latrell Harris on the double team of KJ Jackson. The Haudenosaunee down a man, desperately trying to get that ball back.
Peterson with Teat, who will wait for Byrne to sub in. And one more, Dyson Williams. Williams playing a bit of a different role than he does with the Blue Devils in his collegiate days in Durham. Teat fires, fought off by Hill. He juggled the rebound. Help comes from the defenders, and yet still, Canada gets another possession.
Yeah, and Canada with that important 2-goal lead now starting to hold possession here.
Nice moves, and the finish by Byrne. Off the toe drag, he goes short side.
And that's what we were talking about with this over-aggressiveness from the Haudenosaunee defenders. If they can find a lane to get underneath, and Josh Byrne has one of the best toe drags in the business, is he be able to get underneath his defender, keep his hands and feet moving, and then goes twister 5-hole on Warren Hill, sorry, and just a fantastic goal. It's 7-4 Canada here on ESPN.
Now there we go, Stardom Young. Grady Children's Hospital, presenting sponsor, the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, and ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. Haudenosaunee and Canada squaring off tonight in this one. We mentioned what this game means to these two teams with regard to nailing down that second spot in Pool A.
Yeah, a team going 2-1 here will lock themselves into that #2 spot. Both these teams still have one game remaining, but it should be a win on paper. We all know how that works out when we put the cart in front of the horse.
Withers, nice job to win the draw against a Haudenosaunee team, Teddy, that has a number of family affairs throughout the roster with regards to the Stotts and the Thompsons.
Yeah, just an unbelievable lineage between those two family trees, and obviously no Miles here for the Haudenosaunee, but you have Jeremy, you have Heine, you have Lyle, and then of course Austin and Randy Stotts. We talk about familiarity, growing up with each other. Well, the Thompsons grew up in the Onondaga Nation, the Stotts and Six Nations. They grew up playing lacrosse in their backyard, born with a wooden stick in their cradle. This is life for them, and it means so much, and an unbelievable opportunity to play this beautiful game for the Creator under the lights here in San Diego.
Teat maneuvers in. Williams stays with him at his hip. Teat on the redodge. Dixon, big face dodge. Down low, he scores! Curtis Dixon, a beautiful move.
And that's what made him so lethal at the University of Delaware, is just so uncanny that he is able to get this move to go. High side step, pulls it underneath. Watch this jab step fake by Curtis Dixon, and then he gets under his man and then just nonchalantly roll it far corner. Like, that's, I don't want to say embarrassing, but when you can just roll it past a goaltender, you know you're in his head and have him beat even before you've shot it. And Curtis Dixon, just so good in close.
Super high skill level, his second on the evening. 4 goals in succession for Canada, opening this up to an 8-4 lead. Important draw now for Jeremy Thompson. Can he get possession for Haudenosaunee? Head coach Lars Tiffany, very impressed with his intensity and his integrity. Says that he would follow Jeremy into any battle, but when you have to battle Brody Merrill off the ground, that's a tough challenge. Canada will give it up and give it back to Haudenosaunee with just over 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Running time until the last 30 seconds of this frame.
And here's a look of Brody Merrill just trying to elude his defender, the ageless wonder, and then Wiz just trying to run a little interference, but a little too much for the official.
It's difficult to describe the presence that Brody has on this roster and among these teammates wearing white.
Yeah, he's like an extra coach.
Absolutely.
On the field, and again, we talk about growing up watching guys play. How many of these guys wanted to be Brody Merrill when they grew up?
Randy Stotts gets inside off the slither there. Dobson made the save. There's a flag down, though, as Haudenosaunee will be shorthanded.
It's just so unfair, the fact that Randy Stotts and Austin Stotts are so good on either side of the floor. It's such balance. And while they may not look similar in body type, they do play a very similar game where they can just power you down and wear you down. And that time, Randy found his way inside, draws the penalty on Hasek, and gives his team an opportunity here to get back to within 3.
Apologies, the call was against Hasek of Canada. Graham, who took a couple of penalties against the United States in the opening loss. Haudenosaunee quickly goes extra man, Thompson straight away. That's Lyle off the feed to McLaughlin, and Stotts fires to score! Austin Stotts.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. There are not too many people who love to score more than Audie Stotts. He gives a little high five to his teammates, a little wave to the crowd, and this is a goal scorer's goal. Pull the defense out, find the rotation, and then just plants his feet low side away from Dobson, and a huge pump fist celly from number 83. And he just loves kind of floating around, talking with the people. It never really seems like he is into it, but when the whistle is in and when play is on, there are not many more people as intense and ferocious as Audie Stotts.
3 consecutive multi-goal games for Stotts in this event. 2 times a national champion in his junior college days at Onondaga Community College. He puts an end to Canada's 4-goal run. It's an 8-5 game with a little bit more than 2 minutes to work in the third.
We talked about Canada not having Owen Grant. The Haudenosaunees don't have Dahogan Nanakok, who would be another lethal weapon for this team offensively, but he's down with a lower body injury suffered in the National Lacrosse League playoff run by the Bandits. But it just goes to show the depth in some of these teams as well when they lose key players.
Nanticoke is on the sideline for Haudenosaunee. He's been wearing a boot most of the week. Canada in white, trail end of this third frame. Peterson inverted against McDonald, the midfielder back behind the cage. There's a stall warning against Canada, so now they have to remain inside the attack box. There's no shot clock in the World Championships, but at the official's discretion, they can ask the opposition, or rather the offensive team, to stay in, to keep it in.
And it's often very difficult in these international games when this stall is put on, because you don't know if you should go and extend and try to force the play or not, or let the guy come to you. But the more you wait, the less time you're going to have. So as we hear some boo birds come out here at Torero.
Well, this was a tactic that was used against Canada by the United States to clinch the event opening game back on Wednesday.
And I understand the fans' displeasure, but playing within the rules.
Absolutely. Peterson and McDonald. McDonald, with a quick look over his shoulder, sees 44 seconds left in the quarter. And Peterson just backpedaling away, looking for instructions from the bench. Gets the signal he's looking for, and now he'll initiate under 30 seconds to go. Against the short stick defense of Blake McDonald, who turned 27 recently. Peterson on the move, 14 seconds to operate. Floated over the top, Teat bluffs it, knocked down rudely. From his wallet there, he made that pass. It goes unanswered. Final 5 seconds of the quarter. Teat picked off by Williams. Williams heaves at the length of the field. Wow, great catch. Randy Stotts! Did he score in time?
Oh, I don't think he did.
Did he score in time? There is no video review in the World Championships. The call on the field is no goal. No goal from the officials on the field, no goal from the chief bench official. Fans put up the protest, they disagree, but there is no video review. That was scored after 0-0-0 in the estimation of the officials.
Pass picked off by Zed Williams, a heavy feed, and what a pickup off the turf, and then a floater to the top corner. But the officials say the time ran out. Still a 3-goal game here on ESPN.
The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship is sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. Highly anticipated matchup between Haudenosaunee and Canada. 3 quarters complete, Canada on top by 3, and Teddy, the third quarter ended in frantic fashion.
Well, first of all, what a pickup there by Randy Stotts. Watch the clock center of your screen. Definitely at triple zeros, but look at this finish as he's falling. The dexterity and strength to pull that shot off, despite being after the buzzer. Just an unreal finish and pickup there by Randy Stotts, but it still stays a 3-goal game. We got a heck of a final 15 coming, Joe.
In World Championship play, that ball would have had to have been across the goal line before 0-0-0 for it to have counted.
Not as close as Netanya, but pretty close.
The first time the World Championships in the sport of lacrosse have taken place here in the state of California. This sport that brings people together, more and more of them now around the world. 30 nations in this 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship. Canada in white, Haudenosaunee in the purple. These two teams battling to secure the second rung in Pool A of the 5 teams. There are 6 different pools, 5 teams in each. The top 2 teams in this pool get a bye into the quarterfinal round of the playoffs.
All these teams in Pool A will be the top 5 teams in that playoff round.
Whistling drive from Teat that sailed high. Backed up on the end line by Dixon in lacrosse on a shot closest to the ball, where and when it leaves the field gets possession. Dixon, again, a major factor in the goal-scoring department for Canada, as he was yesterday against Australia. He clicked 3 times. He has 2 tonight. Smith working leisurely with Teat around the perimeter. Josh Byrne ready to go. Pacino with him. Dixon's next. Jerry Stotts hawking him. Dixon, one hand on his cross, weaves his way back behind the cage. Feeds, Lee, keep it hot. That one will sail out of bounds. It's a turnover against Canada.
Yeah, Lee was looking for Clark Peterson on a diagonal skip pass, but Peterson didn't flare out to give himself that lane, so just an unforced error there for Canada. But good possession, good patience in their opening first foray here in the third quarter.
Back in 2018 in Israel in the World Championships, Canada beat the Nationals a couple of times, 10-5 in pool play, then a 15-4 decision in the medal rounds. Canada cruising out early, 8-1 in that one. Dylan Ward was spectacular. We told you about the 24 saves in the pool play. Dylan sharing the net-minding duties tonight with Brett Dobson, who's in there, 47 in the white right now. Lyle Thompson swings it for Zach Miller. Miller off of the screen. Lyle Thompson all night long with number 4 spying on him, Graham Hossack. Thompson loves to create contact and bounce off of it. Let's see if he does that here. Playing a little hide and seek with Hossack. You hear the communication defensively. No shot clock in World Championship lacrosse. Thompson taking his sweet time. Randy Stotts. Good setup man, good finisher. Drives in, fires and scores! Randy Stotts with a bullet.
And I was just about to say, this is a good matchup for Canada with Challen Rogers short sticking on the one-on-one with Randy Stotts. But again, you cannot allow these guys stick side. And the fact that Challen Rogers is a right-handed defender, the head of his stick isn't upfield, and that gives Randy an advantage because there's no extra part of the defensive stick there. So he's able to run through the pressure, get his hands free, and then stings it past Dobson.
Teddy, you reminded me in your pro playing days, you were a transition player. Challen Rogers, who was defending there, 2-time the NLL Indoor Pro League Transition Player of the Year, bested by Randy Stotts. Off this draw, Ignacio didn't come up with it. It squirts free, and Haudenosaunee gets another whack offensively. Big Zed Williams crosses the midline. Kyle Jackson, extremely impressive throughout the tryout period, the camp period for head coach Lars Tiffany and Haudenosaunee.
He took the winter off from playing the National Lacrosse League, coaching at Avon Old Farm School, and has really dedicated himself to being a better athlete. He's got young kids at home. He's really trying to become a better family man, but the chance to play for the Nationals is something that he will never turn down, and he's been one of their biggest surprises, playing both offensively and defensively.
Austin Stotts backing his defender towards the cage. Here comes the help. Austin Stotts skip it on through. Randy Stotts bluffs that shot. Excellent defense from Canada on the perimeter to force the turnover, and now the counterattack with Hasek as Randy Stotts lost his lid. Playing it on, Casey Wilson. Short stick defensive midfielder for Matt Brown and Team Canada.
Casey's out of Victoria, BC, my hometown. Coached him in junior lacrosse. He has come a long way in his field lacrosse. He'd never really played field lacrosse until he went to Denver University, and Matt Brown has found a gem in a short stick defender of young Casey Wilson.
See if Canada opts for a lengthy possession now, leading by 2. Only 6 minutes into the 4th. There will be stoppage time in the final 2 minutes of regulation in this quarter. Dixon rampaging in against Jerry Stotts. Ron John was there to assist. Teat will find Fields. Fields, who erupted for, 112 points in 17 indoor games.
He was a man on a mission this winter after being unprotected by Buffalo in the Las Vegas expansion draft, ended up flipped back to Rochester, and if it wasn't for a couple games that he missed, he might have been one of the top scorers in the NLL this year.
He's focused on the outside activities right now as Fields, who has the ball. Back behind the cage for Lee. Forced all the way to the sideline by Pacino. That pass was low. Zed Williams there looking for the ground ball. He's cleaned out by Berg, and they're going to give possession to Haudenosaunee.
You don't see Zed Williams knocked off his feet that often.
Lyle Thompson on the go. Dyson Williams ran him down, tripped him up, and the youngster is on his way to the penalty box.
Heck of an effort by young Dyson Williams to get back in transition, but just a little too aggressive on Lyle Thompson. But the cagey veteran, Lyle Thompson, feeling the pressure coming from the backside, understood, if I just slow down half a step, he's going to run right through me. And an opportunity here for the Haudenosaunee on the man up.
Dyson Williams told us that if he had a superpower, it would be teleportation. He needed to teleport himself there in the nick of time to get back on Lyle. He did, tripped him up, and when we return, Haudenosaunee goes to the extra man with the youngster Williams in the sin bin. 8-6 Canada down the stretch. Don't you dare move now. The spirit and the energy in this game, it's been a good one. Canada and Haudenosaunee with the Canadians on top by 2. Dyson Williams in the box, Teddy, after this exchange.
Yeah, it all started with the big hit down in the Canada offensive zone. Watch Zed Williams get cleared out here by Wes Berg. Obviously loose ball push without possession, and then Dyson Williams just too aggressive on LT4 backtracking. And so down a pair with 8:06 remaining, a huge EMO opportunity coming here for the Nationals.
And if you're Canada defensive coordinator Taylor Ray, who are you spying on the most now, man down?
Well, I think, as we've mentioned all night long, it's going to go through Lyle at some point, but you have to be aware of Audie and Randy backing their men down right on the crease.
Haudenosaunee in the purple, get it set, 6-on-5. Looking to narrow the gap to 1.
And they actually got Latrell Harris man-marking Austin Stotts way out. Now Stotts will move inside.
Shutting him off, in essence. Zed Williams trades the long stick for his familiar attack wand. Drive, score! Randy Stotts!
2 for Randy, 2 for Audie, and 2 for Lyle. The big boys have come to play for the Haudenosaunee Nationals. And Randy says, hey, you're going to go shut off my brother? You're going to shut off Lyle and leave me all alone on an island? Okay, how about this? Short side cheese with heat. And it's a 1-goal game.
No chance for Dobson. Randy Stotts, who led the Iroquois Nationals in 2018 in golds in the World Championships, bags his second of the night. And just like an evening ago, the Haudenosaunee putting a scare into the top 2 teams in the world. Bested by the United States an evening ago by 2, trailing Canada by 1, and Thompson comes up, Jeremy Thompson that is, with a face-off win.
No matter who the Haudenosaunee Nationals are playing, they often are the favorites in the fans' mind, and you can hear this boisterous crowd at Torero really getting behind him here.
Sun has set, lights have taken full effect. Canada clinging to a lead, Miller looking to take it away from him with Jackson on the way. Great stop by Dobson. Hossack sprints away from the pack to clear for Canada. Finds the open man, they'll settle in. Looking for a quick trailer break there was Casey Wilson.
Yeah, he sprinted right down the center of the field, outlegged his trailing defender, but just missed that pass. Would have been a glorious opportunity for the youngster.
Curtis Dixon with Jackson on. Lars Tiffany said with Heine Thompson ailing that he thought he would see more defensive work, a two-way midfield game from the likes of Kyle Jackson and Brendan Bombery. We see Jackson playing defense now against Smith. He'll try him on for size. Smith lets it go. Kicked out by Hill. Rebound in the crease belongs to Haudenosaunee.
What a save from the king of the hill, Warren Hill, standing tall, facing that Dane Smith outside blast, and he got just enough of it, and then his teat found that loose ball. Had a glorious opportunity with a down and out Hill, but a late stick check from Williams knocked the ball free and ended up in the crease.
Nail-biting time for Haudenosaunee now. 5 minutes to go. Down 1. Jacob Patterson, who lives in the San Diego area. Teddy, you were saying more and more San Diego products are being spotted on the rosters in this World Championship tournament.
Yeah, Nate McPeak, Dylan and John Snyder, Jack Hertz, all from the Southern California area, playing for Jamaica, France, and Denmark. Just a few of the North American players that are playing internationally.
Lyle Thompson snakes into this attack, bluffs it, sends it from the outside wide. Deflected to the end line. Hard battle there. Coming up on the scoop, it's Austin Stotts. Bulldozing his way to the cage. Austin Stotts on the swim. Gets inside, draws a foul. Stopped by Dobson. Haudenosaunee back to the extra man.
And he is just, one, so fun to watch, and two, so hard to stop. Watch him just keep his feet moving. Little flare of the head, trying to convince the referees that the attack was a little too aggressive. And then Patrick Shumay does get too aggressive, but a nice stick save there from Brett Dobson, matching stick for stick. But they just have to be aware of Austin Stotts on the one-on-one pressure. He's just going to continue. He's like a rock rolling downhill. He continues to gain momentum and so hard to stop.
Shumay, a multi-purpose player, another guy who plays indoors for the San Diego Seals. We are at Torero Stadium in San Diego, California for the World Championship, World Lacrosse Men's Championship play that's presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Joe Beninati, Teddy Jenner with you down the stretch. Canada's lead is 1. Lars Tiffany's group, though, is right there, nipping at their heels.
I don't know if they ate that flag or what, but we're already back to 6-on-6.
There are 6 on the field for Canada.
That looked like a clear flag on Patrick Shumay.
Lyle Thompson working the two-man game with Hogarth. Fires! Dobson kneels to deny. Another clutch stop from the netminder, Brett Dobson. Back comes Canada. Rylan Reese, the long stick midfielder. That pass goes high. Haudenosaunee takes it over with less than 4 to go. Clock continues to run until the 2-minute mark. Then on dead balls, inside of 2 minutes to go in regulation, the clock will stop.
It's 2 transition opportunities for the Canadians that have gone awry on just badly timed passes. One from a defenseman, the other from an attackman that was behind Casey Wilson.
Self-inflicted wounds. Zach Miller gliding ahead. Jalen Rogers is there with him. Jackson's picked up on the outside by Latrell Harris with 3:20 to go. No shot clock in these World Championships. Miller. Then Jackson. Fast feet. Working in against Rogers, who is unfazed. Austin Stotts takes it a long way from where he does his best work. Finds his brother Randy. Picked up by Cam Wires. Stotts on the inside roll, flicks it there for Lyle Thompson. The shovel shot blocked. Canada's defense does the job with 2:45 left.
Good smothering defense there by the Canadians. Randy Stotts got underneath his man and flipped it into Lyle, but the Hounds surrounded him.
Perfect word there to describe the defense, smothering at just the right time. Canada asks for the timeout.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens in these final 2:37. How aggressive will the Canadians be offensively or defensively? Will they allow the Haudenosaunee to kind of eat some clock to get within one? Or will the Haudenosaunee just go full on right out, try to get one early so there's still plenty of time to get that go-ahead goal or second, third, fourth opportunity?
Matt Brown there, hands on hips in the red t-shirt, said, you know, Austin Stotts is a bear. And you would have to imagine that he'll have his defense on full alert for 83 when Haudenosaunee gets the ball.
Yeah, in the last EMO, they put Latrell Harris short stick on short stick to shut him down. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to see one of their top long stick matchups, whether it's Brody or whether it's Cam Wires or whether it's a Ryland Reese. He's going to get the number one deep hole matchup, but it's going to be getting those second opportunities. If the shot's there, who's going to have the backup? If it's a loose ball on the turf, both coaches stressed to us how important it was to get balls up off the turf and start transition.
Dylan Ward there, the starting netminder for Canada, helping out in the classroom for his gang. Both teams huddling up now with just 2:37 left. Teddy, it's impressive to watch Haudenosaunee on back-to-back nights battle the two best teams in the world as closely as they have. This is a difficult tournament. There's a lot asked of these teams on consecutive days.
Yeah, and throw in the heat factor and waiting all day till 7 o'clock until you play. It's not like you're going to have a morning shooter or anything like that. You're really just kind of waiting around. You might get a couple hours before the game, a chance to stretch out one of the warm-up fields, but it's a completely different mentality here. They're staying in dorms. They're not used to everything around in the area. So to be able to put on a show like this and still be competitive, this Nationals team is right up there with the top two Canadian Americans. Let's not sell them short.
No.
They deserve to be in these lacrosse games, and everybody knows that they are just one or two pieces away from really becoming a juggernaut in the field game.
Lars Tiffany uses the word attentive. He's been very impressed by the way his group is attentive in all the meetings, listening on the sidelines, wanting to be coached. Well, right now, with a second place on the line in Pool A, and the playoff bye available to the winner of this game, we go down the stretch with 2:25 remaining.
It's Curtis Dixon that's got a short stick matchup right now. He's being watched by Kyle Jackson. If they can try to get him the possession, that's a very good one-on-one matchup.
Clark Peterson has the ball. Jogging with him is Blake McDonald. Dixon still wrestling with Jackson. Stall warning put on Canada. They have to stay in the box. There is no shot clock in World Championship play.
You're going to have to start to see the Haudenosaunee be a little more aggressive now, extending out. They need possession.
And in the final 2 minutes, as we are right now on dead ball plays, the clock will stop. Peterson dragging McDonald a long way from the cooker. Still just playing keep away.
And honestly, the Canadians could do this for the final 2 minutes, 90 seconds if they wanted. They have such good athletes on short stick from their box days. They can just run around. This is a huge space for them to keep open.
Teddy, if you're Haudenosaunee, when do you start gambling and go for the double?
I think we're getting down to 1 minute, Joe. You got to start going now. We're seeing Warren Hill extend, and now they're going.
Hill's out of the cage. They're pressuring, they're extending. Haudenosaunee defensively in purple, looking for the takeaway against Dixon. 60 seconds to go. Ball's down. Officials stop play.
Lars Tiffany asking for the bench officials to put a couple seconds back on the game clock. But again, you talked about back-to-back games as we'll watch the slash come from Kyle Jackson and Curtis Dixon. But you're starting to see a little fatigue. Last night, late in that game, they had to do a lot of chasing for that ball because they were down to the Americans. Now again, down to the Canadians, doing a lot of chasing, and we're starting to see some tired legs.
The Americans have already secured the top seed in the playoffs for the week ahead. They will not have to play in the first round. The winner of this game between Canada and Haudenosaunee likely to earn the second seed and the other bye into the playoff round, as there's a timeout called. 57.5 to go in a one-goal thriller.
Yeah, so I know a lot of fans may be wondering, how do the playoffs work? Well, we mentioned it. 1 through 5, the teams here in Pool A will qualify as the top 5 teams. Then the winners of every other pool, based on the records, goal for, goals against, will make up 6 through 10. And then the second place teams, 11 through 15, all the way down to 30. The top 2 teams will get a bye, and then 3 through 15 will make up sort of the championship pool. So 3 will play 15, 4 plays, and down and down and down we go. So it'll be very interesting to see which countries make it into that championship group, because that's really where the fun begins.
Title game, July 1st. Canada and the United States have hogged the headlines with respect to those championship games for multiple events in a row. Both teams going through their final paces for the what is now listed as 61 seconds left. If you're just tuning in, it was a 4-3 Canada lead at the half. Ryan Lee providing the goal that pushed Canada in front. In the third quarter, the Canadians strung 4 goals together. Dixon, Williams, Byrne, and Dixon again. That gave Canada its largest lead at 8-4. Since then, our neighbors to the north have been held off the board by Lars Tiffany's gang. Austin Stotts and Randy Stotts twice have brought Haudenosaunee within 1.
Yeah, it was a 4-goal run for the Canadians, now a 3-goal run for the Haudenosaunee to get this to a 1-goal game. And that's just the beautiful part of this game, especially the international rules. You can milk clock, you can slow the game down. When the other team has the ball, you can't necessarily always stop them. And when you got the likes of Lyle and Randy and Audie, this is a dynamic offense. And now, conversely for the Canadians, Teat, Dixon, Burns, Smith, Latrell Harris, Challen Rogers. And it'll be interesting to see, as now it looks like the Haudenosaunee are going to do what Canada did late in that American game. They're going to put their goaltender all the way down in the offensive zone. And so now that they can go 6-on-6 with all sticks.
Van Valkenburg has subbed in for Hill, but he's on the offensive side of midfield. 6 defenders out there for Haudenosaunee.
They are a man down, remember, so that's why it's only 6 and not 7.
Looking for the over-the-head check. Nearly the takeaway from Pacino. Recovery by Teat. And another timeout called.
That was so close for Jacob Pacino. Did everything right. Trapped his man on the sideline, went over the top, stripped the ball. But a great job by Jeff Teat just to box his man out. Watch Pacino. Slap check over the head. Ball pops free. Now it immediately comes a loose ball, and Jeff Teat does an excellent job keeping his feet moving, keeping the ball free.
Teddy, I know you're trying to create a turnover there, but for the young lacrosse players out there who are watching, when is it the right time to go over the head with those hero-type checks?
Yeah, usually you're making those checks far out to the sidelines. You're not trying to, we saw Jacob Pacino do it on Connor Fields earlier. Heart of the defense, went over the top. Fields pulled the string, got underneath. Way outside, away from trouble, you can make those difficult decisions to go over the top, especially now when you're under a minute, you need possession. You got to start throwing all the junk in your arsenal.
And Canada's still a man up. But we saw when Lars Tiffany's gang, the purple-clad Haudenosaunee, broke the huddle, they did so with reserve goalie on the field, Van Valkenburg, on the offensive half, so they could put 6 defenders in the defensive end and an empty cage. Obviously, Canada trying to run and hide this game into the winner's circle. It would be dangerous to take a shot and miss and not have it backed up properly. That's what they're discussing on the Canada sideline. Haudenosaunee defense near midfield. Matt Brown and Lars Tiffany giving their teams the assignments.
Yeah, and I think once this penalty to Kyle Jackson is over, depending on how much time is left, they're going to have to jump right into that double team if they haven't already caused a turnover. But if I'm Matt Brown, I'm just telling my guys, run to space, just keep running. If they're going to put the stall on right away, we still got 20 yards to maneuver in front and behind the net. So keep your feet moving. Don't stand still, create space, give your guy a lane to run into.
The offensive attack box is the full width of the field in the World Championships.
Yeah, there's no side box restrainer, so you've got 50, 60 yards east to west, another 25 north to south to play with. And with the athletes and the ball control that the Canadian Sticks have, this will be a tough task to find this possession. Looks like it'll be Curtis Dixon starting with it with Jacob Pacino on him, and this will be a fun little matchup.
Here we go, the end of a very exciting game. Offensive coordinator there, Scott Marr, chatting with Hogarth, who has a goalie stick in his hand. We have seen a whole bunch of wrinkles here. Second place on the line in Pool A for the winner of this. Dixon on the run, turns. Dixon showing off good speed, 25 seconds to go. Ball on the sideline is a turnover. Haudenosaunee has it.
Clock will stop, so that's a good sign for the Haudenosaunee, but they got to go fast here with under 30 to go.
A chance to push this one perhaps to sudden victory overtime. Zed Williams fumbles at midfield. And immediately, as he gets across that midline, Lars Tiffany says, timeout. Let's see what we can draw up, potentially to tie this game in dramatic fashion late in the fourth.
Canadian coaching staff barking at one of the officials, screaming for an offside call, which pretty much would have ended this game. And you can see Curtis Dixon at center just hanging his head a bit. He knows throwing that ball away could cost his team here. But now we're going to see how the Haudenosaunee respond offensively with possession at center. They are going to have to go right away. They can't hold anything back down a goal here and expect the Canadians to get out on hands early.
Teddy, put yourself into the Haudenosaunee huddle. Make yourself the offensive coordinator. Give us an idea on what we might expect to see from the Nationals as they try to tie it up.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably going to start with Lyle. Get a couple two-man games going, a little switch pick, couple scissors, and just get bodies moving, trying to get Sticks in front of Brett Dobson for whatever shot happens. But they're going to have to try to find some sort of flip or some sort of pick and roll to find somebody in space. I don't think you're going to be able to do it one-on-one off the dodge. You're going to have to find somebody through a lane who can get a shot past Dobson.
Been watching Haudenosaunee in practices throughout the week. Offensive coordinator Scott Marr barking signals, knowing that he has a tremendous group of shooters and finishers at his disposal. It'll be interesting to see which button he pushes right now in a chance to get Haudenosaunee tied up with Matt Brown's Canadians.
And it's going to be Zed Williams starting with the ball.
Working in against Reese. Help comes. Stick check there by Reese. Put it down on the ground. Austin Stotts to the end line. They're going to give it to Canada.
What a slap check from Ryland Reese. I didn't expect the yard sale to come from Zed Williams, and that's going to seal it for the Canadians.
Canada holds on by the skin of its teeth and downs Haudenosaunee. Team Canada celebrates on the sideline an 8-7 victor, and they have secured, we would think, the second seed in Pool A play, barring a major upset.
What a fantastic lacrosse game this was. If you weren't entertained, please check your pulse, because this was everything it was built up to be. No shot clock, no restraining shot clock. It's just allowed these teams to play the game. And man, were we entertained. Back and forth, the Haudenosaunee and Canadian trading goals. A 4-goal run from the Canadians blew this game wide open, but as they often do, the Haudenosaunee clawed their way back to within one, but unfortunately will fall to 1 and 2 and into the number 3 spot in Pool A.
No one will catch the United States in the Pool A play. There is still pool play tomorrow. Haudenosaunee finishes up its slate against Australia. It's Team Canada against England on Monday, but tonight, an 8-7 win. The game-winning goal belonging to Curtis Dixon in front of an appreciative crowd at Torero Stadium. As advertised, two phenomenally talented squads in a brilliant game, and it's Canada that wins it on the strength of the Dixon goal that stood tall all the way through the fourth. For Teddy, for all the men and women in our crew, Joe Beninati, thanks so much for your time. Canada nipping Haudenosaunee by 1 way out west.